Good morning and welcome to Out of the Box. Our new show is about people in Des Moines who think outside of the box. And so we hope you'll join us every week to learn more about people, what people are doing in Des Moines, what kind of issues they're facing, whether the organization is a nonprofit or a business. We hope you'll join us here to meet some interesting people and the kind of thinking they're doing that's bringing Des Moines along. So today, my very first guest, my premier guest, is from the Beacon of Life, which is a transitional housing opportunity for women in the Des Moines area. And this organization happens to be very close to my heart, and I happen to think they also think outside of the box a lot. So that's why we're talking to them today. If you have questions or you want to call in, that's great. But I'd like to introduce you now to Keisha Meisner, who's our guest today. And Keisha is the executive director of the Beacon of Life, and I've had the pleasure of working with her since she joined the Beacon a couple of years ago. We're fortunate that the Beacon has a home, and I'm going to let Keisha tell you some of the things that the Beacon does. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to call in, and we'll turn it over now to Keisha. So let's ask some questions and be very calm and cool and collected. This in the spirit of what I call continuous improvement, we are going to make every show better and better. But I couldn't think of anybody better to have on our premiere show than you. So
Premier guest. I feel very special.
You are very special.
I like it.
So let's talk first about the Beacon.
Okay.
And I do want to talk a little bit about your leadership role there, but let's talk about the Beacon in general, because I think it's kind of Des Moines' best kept secret in some respects. And this is an opportunity to tell people exactly what it does.
Okay. Well, the Beacon of Life is a transitional housing for women in crisis. So we deal with a lot of different aspects. Obviously, domestic violence, homelessness, drug and alcohol addiction, all of these things can derail a woman's life. And we're just a safe haven for them, a place where they can come, recover, rebuild their lives, gain sustainability and self-sufficiency, and it's a safe place for them to grow as an individual. I love the Beacon and what we stand for and our mission, which is to empower women in crisis to achieve positive long-term change, and I think it's really important. So we're very high energy, very positive, and we focus on the individual, which I think is really important. We don't just look at them all as the same. They all come to us with different difficulties or struggles that they're facing. So we want to tackle that challenge head on and figure out what it is that we can do for them so that they can better themselves and prepare them for once they leave the Beacon.
So give me a feel. I already know, but tell the people that that are watching today, what does a woman at the Beacon do? Is it it's a place to sleep, or is it way more than just a place to lay your head at night?
Yeah, it is way more. We are not, yes, we are transitional housing, but we incorporate so much more into our programming. We have classes, and we encompass everything that a woman needs for her body, her individuality, just everything. So we focus on nutrition and victim impact classes, along with healthy relationships. And then we work with them on their budgeting and their financial situations. So we just cover the entire circle of what they need to focus on for themselves. So, as far as like budgeting, just preparing them for once they're out on their own, how are they going to, maintain their household expenses and, checking accounts. And we provide all that information through our classes and programs for them so that when they're out on their own, they are ready to go and they have all that knowledge that they need. So two of our really important classes that we have are victim impact and healthy relationships. Like I said, many of our clients are coming to us with drug and alcohol addiction issues or theft issues, or they're coming to us from a prison or a jail system. So those classes really focus on, their victims and what it is they did that affected them. And it's just a way for them to look at it on the other side of the fence. And it gives them really good perspective. And it's actually been shown, and we have them go through a summary after every time they take the class, every client. And it's just been they all say it's an eye-opening experience, and they really gained a lot of knowledge. So all of our programs are just kind of offer a different aspect, I think.
So talk to me about the kind of woman that might end up at the Beacon. I think this is the one thing that's really surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
Often you think you have in your head the kind of person that shows up, maybe a chronic criminal or somebody who forges checks, but there are a lot of people that I was surprised were at the Beacon. So can you talk a little bit about where those people come from, how they find you, and what kind of spirit do they have to be successful at the Beacon?
Okay. Well, like I said, a lot of our clients do come from a prison or jail system or a treatment facility. However, domestic violence, drug and alcohol addiction, it can affect anybody and everyone in different ways. And so, no two individuals are the same. And I think it's very interesting for people to understand that, especially a domestic or a victim of domestic violence can just really be anyone. It could be a doctor, it could be your neighbor across the street. It could be your child's preschool teacher, and that can really lead them into some other things that they didn't have planned for their lives. And so that's why we're there. I think that it's easy for someone to say, oh, it's just a house full of criminals, or it's just, it's this, and it's not. We really offer support to everyone, no matter what their demographic or their background is. So I think that's important that we're.
I think one of the most touching stories I've ever heard was from a woman who was actually a grade school teacher, I think.
Yeah.
And her issue really became gambling, I think, and that's what led her to writing bad checks.
Yeah.
And she didn't plan that, and I was really amazed at how incredibly smart she was. But when women come to the Beacon, what happens first? I mean, how do you like assess where they are? How do they become part of the Beacon community?
Okay, well, first off, we do a pre-screen. So usually if they're like a self-referral and I want to come here, I want to rebuild my life, or, they'll sit down with their case manager and kind of do a pre-screen, making sure that they would fit all of our criteria. And I would say that basically means that they're willing to put in the effort that it takes. We're not just a place to come in and lay your head down. We're a place for you to build your life back up, and I'm very big on the thing that we are not a handout, we're a hand up. And it's really big for us because we're empowering you, we're encouraging them, it's very important to us. So when they first come to us, we go through that pre-screen, making sure that they would be willing to commit to our program. And we are a 4-phase program, so it takes at least 4 months, at least 30 days per phase. So I would say on average it's 6 to 9 months per stay. So we're just making sure that they're willing to commit to that. And then from there we would, we do the whole tour and just kind of get, making sure that they're comfortable with that. And we go through the rules and all those things and make sure that that's something that they're willing to commit to.
And it's community living, so they have to also have the opportunity to learn to live with each other.
Right. And I think that's a huge thing for some of them. They have, many of them have never had to do with that or haven't had to since college years, or, so it's a whole new learning experience. But it's a great way for them to build relationships. And many of them leave the Beacon with strong friendships and support system. So it's great.
So talk for a second about leaving the Beacon.
Okay.
Because people do leave.
They do.
But the strings aren't really cut. Because you don't want people to reoffend or regress.
Right.
So what kind of support does the Beacon offer?
Well, we offer continuous support. So once someone graduates from our program, they are able to come back and come, because we have a meal every single night at the Beacon. So they're able to come and eat with the rest of the residents that are still at the house, and they can still use their budgeting coach. They can still come to any classes that they want to. We have in-house AA and Winter Circle meetings. They can come to those. We always say, you always have a home here. You always have support. And it's great to see clients actually use that and come back. And, if they feel low or if they're going through struggles, they come in and they talk to us. And it's great. I think it's a great tool for them to know that they, no matter what, even though they're on their own now, they still have somewhere to come back to.
And you also help with that transition.
Correct.
What happens when you deem somebody's ready to graduate, if you will, or go out on their own. What other services do you help them with?
Oh, well, this is an emotional topic because I love to see them graduate. It's a huge it's a success for us, but it's sad because you grow really attached to them and you see how much they've grown, and so it's really exciting. We get really involved with that, and once they're able or willing and ready to move out, we help line them up with furniture. There's a lot of churches in the metro area that help with furniture and beds and things like that. So we get them all hooked up with them, and we also go and make sure that the apartment that they pick out is a suitable place to live. So we do house inspections and just the general area and neighborhood that they're living in, and making sure that it's actually going to be a safe environment, because we are worried about them, reverting back to some old behaviors or getting caught up in the same situation. So we want to make sure that they are picking the right place for them to start their new life.
Do all the women that the Beacon serves come from the Des Moines area?
No, not at all. We serve all of Central Iowa, and we have served some people out of state. It just depends on, where, if they're trying to escape, especially domestic violence, and they need to get, however far away, we're that open home for them. So, no, we've served people from all over the place.
Now, how many people live as a community at the Beacon at a time?
Okay, well, we have 34 beds, actually, which is quite surprising because our house really isn't that big. And then we have 2 handicap accessible out of those with a wheelchair ramp and a wheelchair shower, so that's great. And then we have 2 floors with 4 bedrooms and 4 people to each room. So it is close living quarters, like I said, but they build really good relationships. They need to clean their rooms together. Every morning their beds need to be made. It's a very structured living environment. So they're all responsible for their own stuff, but yet they have to hold each other accountable for making sure their room is clean and vacuumed, and all those things that we need to do as well as our own homes.
Which isn't all that different from living in some kind of family environment, but you want to make sure that they're ready to hold their own when they go back to that environment. Talk a little bit about how, like, the meals. There's a community meal every night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming those who live at the Beacon are also expected to work?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, as far as the meal goes, we Monday through Friday, when a resident comes into the Beacon, they're assigned a cook night. So them, along with like 4 or 5 other individuals, will plan the meal, prepare it, they'll cook it, and then they serve it to the rest of the house, or if we have any graduates come or volunteers and staff that are there. And then afterward, they clean up and put all the dishes away and things. But they're only responsible for one night, and then someone else does it the next night. So it's a good team building experience because they have to figure out what they're going to eat with the food that we have, and they get kind of creative. It's kind of exciting. It's fun. But along with the cook night, they also have a daily chore that they, whether it's taking out the trash or wiping down the doors or whatever it is, they all have a chore that they have to complete during the day, just like we do, So, and then besides that, their room area is their responsibility. Like I said, making sure that every morning their beds have to be made and they have to be up and ready to go. And a big component that we are very focused on is finding them jobs or helping them maintain a job. So once they get to the Beacon and they get settled in, if they are not employed, then they're expected to go out and do job searches daily until they find employment. And 2 of our classes help with that, job readiness and resume building. So we give them the tools that they need in order to advance in the position or to gain employment.
And have some of the residents that you work with never worked before?
Yeah, definitely.
So they've never had to look for a job.
Correct. And that's a challenge because they don't understand interview skills or, just simple application, writing out an application or how to prepare a resume because they've never had to do that. So we, again, in those classes, trying to encompass everything that they need to know. And those are 2 of the first classes that they have to take when they come to the Beacon, and it really prepares them for that employment.
So when they go out in the community to look for employment, do you also help them talk about how they're rebuilding their lives to a potential employer?
Mm-hmm. We do, and we really encourage them to share their story with that person, and some of them, if they have charges, whether it's maybe they have theft charges, maybe they have manufacturing of methamphetamines, we just encourage them to be very honest and forthcoming with that person that they're interviewing with, and let them know, hey, this is what happened in my life. I'm overcoming this. This is why I'm at the Beacon. This is, and just tell them what's up. And I think that people really respect that. And we've seen success from that.
That's awesome. And if people are interested in employing Beacon residents, because of, there's some pluses for an employer because of the accountability that you provide, how would they let you know that they have job openings that would be valuable for Beacon residents?
They could definitely contact us and get us on their mailing list if they have openings. So they can just shoot my case manager an email. I think that's very productive. And then she posts, because she gets emails like that all the time. So she'll post those on our bulletin board so the women know what jobs are open or available or who's looking for employees. So yeah, that's very helpful. And in some cases, some of the clients, they could even receive tax benefits or tax credit benefits, depending on what the client went through, what their charges were.
So in other words, the employer would get the tax benefit, making that employee an even more attractive hire.
Exactly.
So how do they find out more about that? Can your case manager tell them about the program, or do they need to do some homework before they contact you?
Oh, she could. Yeah, anyone can call the case manager. Her name is Julie Barden, and they can just call her up and request some information, and she can give that to them. And
okay, yeah, I want to talk about one component that is in some people's minds probably missing, and that is the idea of family.
Okay,
and the fact that the women who come to the Beacon come and stay as themselves. There's a philosophy behind that, which I think is pretty brilliant. It's out-of-the-box thinking. So tell me about that philosophy and why you think that makes the program more successful.
Okay. Well, we are gearly focused, just strictly focused on women. Now, many of our women are parents. They're mothers and or aunts, or they take care of their nieces and nephews, which 2 of our classes, again, encompass that parenting and, how to build relationships with your children. Our focus is, and something that we really tell them very heavily, is focus on yourself, because you're not going to be able to take care of those people that matter the most to you if you can't take care of yourself. And so they're at the Beacon for a reason. So whatever that reason is, we need to address it and take care of it so that when they're on their own, they can take care of those children. So we are very involved. Many of them have either their children are in DHS or living with a relative or whatever. So they're allowed to have their family visits at the Beacon. They're allowed to come in. Their children, we had a couple there last night. They can come in. Their children can eat supper with everyone. They hang out during meetings, things like that. So we're very focused on family. It's a very important key factor. However, we think that the person should focus on themselves individually first in order to take care of their children afterwards.
What kind of support can you give or do you give the other family members? Is there an opportunity for them to participate in any programming?
Yeah, if the client, say during the parenting class, definitely. If many of the kids are very young though, so I don't know if it would be too beneficial for them, but some of the co-parents or, maybe it's their sister that's taking care of their kids, they are more than welcome to come in as well. We don't put any restriction on that. They can come in and take benefit from those classes as well. And we offer support, so if, an individual who is taking care of someone's children wants to come in and talk to the case manager, that is more than okay. We're not just there for the client themselves, we're there for their family, their parents or whoever it might be.
So who teaches classes? I'm really, and actually I don't know the answer to this. So
okay, the best thing about our classes is they are all, except for the Victim Impact and Healthy Relationships, which is actually a certified class, they're all taught by volunteers.
So they're women and men, both?
Yes, yep. We have, for the budgeting coaches, we have a lot of individuals from, say, banks like Wells Fargo and things like that downtown that come after work. And we have a one-on-one budgeting session 4 times a week. So the client is assigned a budgeter. Either it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday evenings. And, all the rest of them are, women's health is taught by a doctor from Planned Parenthood on a volunteer basis. All of our financial literacy, again, are individuals from banks or places like that, financial advisors that come in and volunteer their time to go over 401ks and bank accounts and important things that they need to really embrace and understand.
And I'm assuming there are some people that haven't even ever written a check.
Correct.
So balancing that checkbook, I could use some help with that. Balancing the checkbook would be a good one for me to take. So what if you had needs in the classroom for teaching programs? What kind of people are you looking for? Or what do you have needs right now?
Oh, we always have needs, and there's always things that we can find individuals to do. Volunteers are the heart of any organization, and we rely heavily on them because, gosh, we have almost 60 volunteers between our resale store, Found Treasures, and the Beacon operations. So volunteers are amazing. And my prior place of employment, I used to be a volunteering coordinator, so I understand how important they are and what they bring to any organization. So we have some wonderful volunteers. Wonderful.
Well, you just have provided us a great segue.
Okay.
We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how the Beacon is supported and how people can become involved if they'd like to, right after this.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wonderscheid.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
If you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? You can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
Enough said.
Welcome back to Out of the Box. Our guest today is Keisha Meisner from the Beacon of Life, and we've been talking about the Beacon and the programming that occurs there. Now we're going to talk about one of the things Keisha said right before the break is that volunteers are really important to the heartbeat of the organization. And so we're going to talk more about how volunteers can help not only with time and talent, but also financially. So listen in. the Beacon's an awesome organization. I've actually been involved for, this is bad, I can't remember, 7 or 5 years, I can't remember, and actually served as board president for 2 years. What I like about the Beacon as an organization to give my time, talents, and money to is that I know the money's being put to work to change the lives of women. And you can see that work by attending events, by visiting the Beacon. One of the events we're going to talk about offers an opportunity to actually hear from people, and we'll talk more about that. But Keisha, let's go back real quick to your comment right before the break about volunteers.
Okay.
What volunteers come in all shapes and sizes, and so
And ages.
and let's talk about, I mean, what are you looking for in a volunteer? And is there anybody you've ever had to turn away as a volunteer, or do you always find, I guess I always think of the guy who even drove the van. I mean, what an awesome opportunity for somebody who's retired. So,
And a time saver for us, you know. Yeah, volunteers, like I said, are so important, especially to us. We value their time, energy, talent, everything they bring to the table for us. And like I said, all ages. I mean, we've had volunteers come in with their youth group, age 14, 13, doing food drives, things like that, all the way up into their 70s and 80s after retirement, and I just think that anyone who is passionate about doing something or helping change someone's life, that's all it takes to be a volunteer. You just have to have that passion and wanting to help someone else out.
and because volunteers are so important, you actually have somebody who works with volunteers, right?
Who actually herself, which I love to say this, she's a volunteer. So we have a volunteer coordinator. Her name is Linda. She's phenomenal. I adore her because she does so much for us. Just works with all of our volunteers and helps set up what they, what their interests are. So they can come in, meet with her. Anyone who's interested in volunteering for us, just meet with her and kind of go over, maybe their talents or anything that they would like. If they would like to teach classes, like if they have like maybe an art background and they want to. We had someone come in last weekend and do Valentine's Day invitations with the clients because they like to do arts and crafts. So anyways, Linda will match you up with your talent to what our needs are. And she's great because she herself is a volunteer and really encompasses everything that we stand for at the Beacon. So,
Well, and Linda's also great because she served on the board for a time. And what she realized is even though she enjoyed board work and got to see some of the workings, she determined that her calling was really to be the volunteer coordinator. And I love the fact that she's so committed and passionate about it.
yeah, she really is. And when you think about it, I mean, she probably does at least 32 hours a week volunteer.
So it's almost like
It's
a full-time job.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where we'd be without her.
Okay, so we've talked about volunteer time and talent, giving to the Beacon that way. Let's talk about supporting the Beacon in other ways. You have kind of a whole menu of ways that people can support the Beacon. And there's kind of something for everybody. So let's talk first about your events.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit more about your twice a year now, event that's really kind of different. It's not something you find very often in Des Moines.
It is a little different. And anyone who has ever heard, who knows of the of Beacon, knows of the Quiz Bowl. It is our premier, fundraiser that we do twice a year. It is a team trivia event. So people get teams of 8 together. And when I say teams, I mean teams. They come dressed to the nines. They pick a theme. They pick a name.
Costumes.
I mean, we had some very brilliant costumes this last November. Harry Potter. It's really entertaining. So anyways, they'll get groups together, and we have 9 rounds of 9 questions. It's $20 a person, and that includes food. So last time we had soups and salads. This time we're going to have a nacho bar, or a potato bar, like things like that. So it's pretty exciting. It's just really fun. We also have a former client that comes in and kind of just gives a few minutes on her life story and what brought her to the Beacon and what the Beacon did for her. So I think it's really important for individuals to see what it is that their money is supporting.
And definitely that time with a client really brings home why people are there. It's a really fun night. I've been to several of them, and it's a lot of fun, but there's something about actually hearing why you're there that brings it home to people.
Yeah, that is so true, especially when you can hear someone's story and see their emotion, because it's a very emotion-driven time for them to go and revisit those feelings and how far they've really come. And it's really emotional for the rest of the staff and myself, too, because we saw them come in. We saw them come through our doors. We know what they were faced with, and we know what they left with. And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So Quiz Bowl, normally registration starts, about 4 weeks ahead of time?
Yeah, about 4 weeks ahead of time.
And you have teams come in. Now, when we talk about people dressing up and getting into it, there's a reason they get into it, because they can win prizes.
They can win prizes. So we have best team name, best decorated table, and best team spirit, which is a really
competitive.
Yes, very competitive, actually. I think last time the first place went between it was a girlfriend and boyfriend, and they both got their teams together from their work or their friends. So it was against those two teams. And so I think the girlfriend won, but it gets really competitive and kind of brings up the excitement, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, we give prize bags away for those, as well as the first, second, and third place for the actual trivia contest.
Yeah, and everybody at the table wins something.
Yeah, everyone gets a little gift bag, and if it's the first, second, or third place, they get gift cards. I mean, so they really get their money back for what they put in with gift cards from surrounding businesses and restaurants.
And that's another way that businesses can support the Beacon, is by offering up prizes for those gift bags or those. And are you doing anything else at those events to raise money?
We do some raffles and things like that really just kind of. We've had a couple event tickets we've raffled off and things like that. So yeah. This one, we're kind of switching gears a little bit, though, because we are looking at other fundraising options to kind of bring in and kind of so we can include everyone, because that trivia is not for everyone.
Right.
Not the best at it. So it just kind of depends. But yeah, we want to kind of bring in some more.
But if you can get 7 of your friends together, it's an awesome, fun time on a Friday night.
Low stress. It's a lot of fun. Just very casual, very laid back.
Yep.
Very enjoyable.
And family oriented.
Very family. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's good to have people that read, know music, movies, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, movies. Famous people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're once in a while, I absolutely have no idea what we're talking about. So it's generationally, it's for young and old.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Is that fair to say?
Right. And we try and incorporate a theme each time. Last time it was Talking Turkey, because it was around Thanksgiving time, but it had to deal with a lot of the country turkey in the surrounding area, which is kind of unique. So,
and there's always a question about the Beacon.
There's always an entire round. So every second question for each round, there was a question about the Beacon.
So people really have an opportunity to get to know about the Beacon if they don't, just by teaming and answering the questions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, okay. And when's the next Quiz Bowl?
May 3rd at the Event Center West.
Okay. And people can register or sign up or get more information at our new
website, which is not launched yet, but we will be looking for that in the next couple weeks. So we're really excited about that. It is www.beaconoflifedm.org.
Okay.
Look for that. If they're interested in registering right now or they want more information, feel free to call us at the Beacon. And we can give more information there too.
Okay, great. Well, that's one thing. Now there's another opportunity for supporting the Beacon that's kind of out of the box.
It is.
And I love it because it's my favorite place to take the things that are still too good to get rid of, but can be used by someone else, and that's Found Treasures. So can you tell me a little more about Found Treasures?
Mm-hmm. Well, I love Found Treasures, and so do a lot of our supporters. But Found Treasures has been open for a little over 2.5 years now. It is our upscale resale boutique located in Historical Valley Junction. So it's a donation shop. So individuals can bring their gently used clothing, home decor. We accept men's, women's, children clothing, and just knickknacks and things like that. Shoes, purses, scarves, jewelry, those types of things. So people can bring them in to us, get a tax receipt for their donation, and then we resell those items to support the Beacon. And especially our utility bills, that's pretty much what we're focused on right now, is to help alleviate some of those burdens with our heat and water bills.
And where is the store in Valley Junction?
It's located on the west side of the street at 125 5th Street in Valley Junction.
And it's really hard to miss because it has a beautiful window.
It does. Yep.
So, and it's kind of catty corner from the theatrical shop.
It's right across the street from the theatrical shop.
Okay, so what kind of hours is the store open?
Currently, for the winter months, on Monday we're only open 1 to 5, but then the rest of the days, Tuesday through Saturday, we're open 10 to 5, and Sundays 1 to 4.
And people can donate during those windows as well as come to shop?
Yep. Anytime that we're open, they can drop off donations.
Okay, now I seem to remember that this time of year it's like prom time.
It is.
So what's in the store that everybody who's listening should think about coming to look at?
If you're looking for a prom dress, especially for your daughter or your niece or whatever, we have brand new prom dresses, never been worn, from Schaefer's and some other local dress shops in town that donate their after-season prom dresses. So we have some gorgeous prom dresses right now for really reasonable prices at around $25 to $30 a piece.
Oh my gosh.
Which, I remember what I spent on my high school prom dress, and whew, I wish I had this option now.
I have a good friend who just spent $300 on a daughter's prom dress. So that's pretty significant. And they're new, right?
New, yep. And we've had individuals come in and looking for a wedding, bridesmaid dresses, things like that. So if you're looking for those, come on in.
So who staffs the store?
Again, back to a very important thing of volunteers. We are completely supported by volunteers when it comes to the Beacon. The Beacon and Found Treasures.
So if people have a hankering to do retail, that would be a volunteer.
That would be it's a big need for us too, especially on the weekends. We find it's kind of a little bit hard to find volunteers that are interested in serving during those hours. But yeah, if you don't have to use a cash register, you can come in, maybe like doing floor displays or setting up maybe you're really good at sorting clothes or you want to
dressing mannequins.
Or dressing mannequins, yes. Whatever your talent, maybe we'll take it.
Yeah, I've always wondered how you must have a talent to dress a mannequin because I've decided they're not very easy to dress. So, in addition to Found Treasures taking donations through the door, if people have things that are larger, can they call and have them picked up or?
Yep. The only thing that we really do not accept is electronics. We just don't have the space for it or large furniture, basically TV stands or entertainment centers. Everything else we'll take except for beds. If there's something that they have that's large, they can contact us, and if we can try and find a time for us to come pick it up, we will. Or they can drop it off at any time during our open hours.
Now, you're part of Valley Junction, and Valley Junction has lots of events that go on. Is the store generally open when there's some kind of Valley Junction event?
Yep, we stay open for all those events. Usually they're on like a Thursday night, so we stay open until 8 or 9. Farmers Market is probably, I would say, the biggest event that they have down there, which is a wonderful, I love Farmers Market on Thursdays. A lot of other nonprofit organizations and farmers and necklaces and jewelry stands. It's just great. I love it. So
and people can stop in the store.
Yep,
as
and
well.
We're open and and I think this year we're going to have a booth outside too. So
okay, so the next project you have going is really new, kind of exciting. It's targeted at those people who love Des Moines and love to focus on small businesses, and it's the Urban Card. So can you tell me more about the Urban Card program and how it benefits the Beacon?
I can. Yeah, we recently just launched a partnership with the Urban Card, formerly known as the Urban 515 card. So I really love it. It encompasses locally owned businesses, especially in this region. So it partners with more than 40 local organizations, businesses, restaurants, things like that you can get great deals at. So part of our thing is that we sell cards and we receive $10 back for each card sold. So it's a great fundraiser for us. It's a great tool for those who buy it because they huge savings. It's a year-long's worth of discounts and deals at these vendors. So 20% off of your bill at Dos Rios and things like that. So it really adds up, and you can use it as many times for the entire year that you have it. And once you buy a card from us, we give you your little vendor key, and you can put it on, and you get one of these hard plastic cards sent to you, which actually has our logo on the back and information, and a QR code that you can scan with your smartphone and get a list of all the places that you can go.
And you can also scan it to find out more about the beacon.
There are 2 QR codes. There's one on the bottom for the beacon that you can use, and it goes right to our mobile site and get more information about what we are.
And how did this come to be? I'm just really curious because it's so unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Another out of the box opportunity. How did this come to be?
Well, actually, it's been a little over a year now. We were contacted by Carrie, who is the owner of Urban Card, and through our Twitter account, she saw that we were doing what we were doing and connected with us and came to one of our donor events. And we just kind of struck up a conversation about it and kind of started playing around with it. And, we just recently were able to launch it officially. So it's pretty exciting. It'll be located on our new website, and individuals who wish to purchase can go right to our badge there and purchase it through us, and they'll benefit us as well as getting really good deals.
And the deals are good, and you can actually scan the QR code to see what the deals are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out and about and you're like, oh, I want to go have dinner, but I can't remember all the Urban Card places, let's check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So does the Urban Card awareness, you're also building awareness, really,
Mm-hmm.
among a totally different audience of people.
Right. I think this is a really good tool for us to get into those people who have never, heard of the Beacon or don't really know what we're about. So it's a really good way for us to explain, hey, you can help out a really good cause at the same time that you're getting good deals, and this is what we do. And, by having our logo there and the QR code, it's just a great link to our organization as well as the Urban Card.
And it's actually a card.
It is.
She's, it's the real thing.
It's the real deal.
And I think that's one thing, so many of the loyalty cards, you either give a phone number or, and this, you actually kind of feel like you're a card holder, and it's nice and very elegant, and you feel like you're very important. Mm-hmm. So in order for the Beacon, though, to benefit, they need to buy the card through
From
the
us.
Beacon.
Yep.
Through the website or by contacting you.
Correct. And we also have a link. So if they're interested, I have an email that I can send out to them that sends them right to a link that is connected to our account. So they can buy it through that link. It directly goes into our account then.
Okay. Well, we developed the Facebook page for this show, we'll make sure that all those links are on there so everybody can find you.
Okay.
For all those things. So what other kind of fundraising things do you have up your sleeve? Well, I tell you what, let's take a break first.
Okay.
Because I can tell that we need to take a break. I'm not sure why I knew that, but anyway, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about kind of what the vision is and where you're going, and then I want to talk a little bit about you.
Oh boy.
As a young professional who has come to the Des Moines community.
Okay.
So we'll be right back.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittiesusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Welcome back to Out of the Box on Webcast One Live, and our guest today is Keisha Meisner, who is the Executive Director of the Beacon of Life. And because we're talking about out-of-the-box things, Keisha's here and has shared some things that the Beacon does, both in programming and in getting community support, that are really thinking outside the box. So we're going to talk a little bit more, though, about events. And the other thing is Keisha, just in general, is kind of an out-of-the-box thinker. So we're going to talk about that, too. So we talked about your 3 fundraising events, Quiz Bowl, or 3 ways of fundraising, Quiz Bowl, Found Treasures, the resale shop in Valley Junction, and the new Urban Card, which is really exciting, and I hope it takes off and everybody in town is using an Urban Card. And actually, I've used mine, and I would say that the purchase price, if you really use it, you can get 4 or 5 times what the purchase price is very quickly.
I've already exceeded that. I think I've saved... This is about like close to $100 already on a $30 purchase.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think we figured out that so far we've saved about $120.
Yeah.
And I've only been using it for almost less than a month. So, yeah, it's an awesome investment. But you have some other events that aren't so much focused on fundraising as saying thank you. So what are those?
Well, we have 2 events. First is our volunteer appreciation dinner, which I think I love. We did that last year. It's a way for us to say thank you to our volunteers for donating so much time and energy to our cause. It's just a nice casual dinner that we have, and we make up for them, and we give away a couple of awards and things like that, and some gifts, and it's just a way for us to say thank you without, we don't have in our budget to spend a ton of money on things like that. So they really appreciated that, and it's a way for them to get to know each other because we have so many volunteers at our store. We have so many volunteers at the Beacon. It's a way to bring them all together, and so they realize that they're all helping the same cause, just in different ways. So it's a great event.
And you have another event that is under development. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, we have another event that is kind of geared towards our donors. And so anyone who has donated to us in the last year, we extend an invitation for them to come and see what their money has done for us in the last year and their support. So it's just a nice, again, casual evening. Last year we had it at Cafe de Scala, which is right across the street from the Beacon. So we were able to go across the street and do tours and things like that. So it's just a great low-key evening.
You bring up a really good point when you talk about Cafe de Scala. The Beacon is actually located in a neighborhood, and so it feels very much like home. Is that fair to say?
I would have to say that.
And one of the things I can say as a neighbor in that neighborhood is that the women of the Beacon are good neighbors. We've been fortunate that they volunteered for several things that the neighborhood looks at. So you're also teaching them how to be members of the community.
Very true.
So, okay, let's talk a little bit about Keisha. Keisha, tell me how you decided to come to Des Moines and join the Beacon.
Well, where do I start? This is not something I don't like talking about myself, so we'll see. I was approached by a friend, actually emailed by her, and she found you guys were looking for a new executive director, and so she emailed me the link to apply for the position and said, "This is you. You have got to apply for this position. You would do great. This is exactly what you want."
And what were you doing?
I was actually the program development director at a domestic sexual assault center, and I loved it. I just knew that I wanted to come down to Des Moines. I heard so many great things, and I knew it would be a really good place for me to expand and to develop professionally and personally. So, she sent that, and I thought about it for a little while, and I contacted the board and just applied, and it was a process of interviews, and it was really exciting. And when they offered me the position, I was ecstatic. I was ready, and it was just been a really good experience. So,
and one of the things you probably found as you got here is that you were considerably younger than a lot of executive directors.
Yeah.
How have you approached that?
Well, for the most part, I have to say, especially with the other nonprofits in town, great. I think that they are very welcoming. They've been great mentors. I've been able to call on quite a few of them with questions, and they're respectful. So I think it's been a great team building, experience for me. I'm able to kind of look to them for advice, and it's been a good experience. But you're right; it was very difficult to come in, especially at such a young age, and
it's not like you're that young.
Well,
it's
right,
just that there are a lot of people who have been in executive director positions for several years. I mean, like over 10 years. There's a lot of long-term loyalty to executive director positions.
And I think starting out, though, at such a young age is definitely, it has its setbacks, but it definitely has its positives as well, like thinking outside the box and just having a fresh look on things. And I think that's really helped.
And I think the other thing, and this is a personal perspective, having served on the board, is it also helps us with some of the women we serve, because I think often it was difficult to relate to women who were not the age of the executive director, maybe. Mm-hmm. So it's a great opportunity to have that kind of generational representation, if you will. So, okay, you came from rural Iowa, really.
Yeah.
What would you say was your big lesson about moving to Des Moines?
Well, first lesson, I got a GPS system. Seriously. Downtown, I was trying to drive, I remember, and our office is located pretty close to downtown, and I was coming down here for quite a few meetings and things, and I only made it about a week, and I was like, I gotta do something about this. But I would say my first lesson coming here was how inviting and how welcoming the community is. Like I already said, the other nonprofit directors, but in general, just the other the young professionals group and other organizations and my Rotary Club. I felt really connected right away, and it's really easy to get in there and meet new people and network, and I think that's great. I haven't even been here a full 2 years yet, but I already feel like Des Moines is home to me, and I think that's great.
And the other thing, though, is that you really invested. Mm-hmm. You made a point of investing in those groups and becoming involved, and I think that really represents the Beacon well, not just you. So that's an awesome plus, if you will. So let's go back for a second to support of the Beacon. And one group we really haven't touched upon is that, and it kind of goes back to what you're saying about being involved in the community, that's the community support from businesses, mm-hmm. the grants, the Prairie Meadows grants, the other groups that actually support the Beacon. What role do they play in making sure that the doors stay open?
Oh, they are vital. to our operations because I think they see what we do and especially what we do for the community. We play a vital role in making sure that women are rehabilitated and in recovery and ready to move out on their own. So building those relationships with those donors has been really important. And I want them to understand that their money isn't just a mute hand over a check and that's it. It really does benefit the women that we serve just directly, providing those programs to them and, the meals and the case management, which is so important. And just having that support, I think that it's really important for them to know their money is directly affecting our organization.
And has that corporate support become more important?
I would say, unfortunately, with the times, it's been more important. However, we are trying to focus more on becoming self-sufficient ourselves. Like with our resale store, that's something that looking down the road, we want to make sure that if that support's not there, we're able to provide for ourselves. So,
and what's causing that, the change, if you will, in needing to be more self-sufficient and thinking outside of the box about where is the money going to come from?
Right. Well, I think that just with this time right now, there are more individuals, there are more organizations that need the help, the support. So those Principal and Prairie Meadows grants and nationwide, those are being expended other ways to other organizations, which is great. The need is just greater than it has been in the past. So for us, for instance, we are doing more with a lot less. We've had to cut out funds from our budget, very important funds, and figured out how we're going to deal with that and how we're going to come up with the difference. And that's been a huge struggle. But it's also been a really good, again, team building experience, and we've gotten really close as an organization, and we do a lot with a lot less.
And have there been government programs that you used to benefit from that have started to either disappear or have gone away altogether?
Yeah, we have. And that's one thing that when it comes back to Found Treasures, we need to figure out how we're going to bring back funds to our organization without relying on them, on the federal or the city grants, things like that.
And so when you approach a business about helping,
Mm-hmm.
do you have programs in mind, or are there things you're trying to expand or bring back some of those programs that you actually had to cut?
Well, when we write a grant or when I actually go and speak with an individual or a business, I actually give them this is what your money would go to. Just like any other grant, I always write down this, I want you to help these two programs. And so they actually know that when we receive their money, that's where it's going. It's what we intended it for, and that's what we told them it was going to be used for. And I think that's really important.
And I know that a lot of nonprofits in the metro area have had a tough time because some companies have really shrunk their corporate giving, not because they don't want to give, but just because they don't have the ability to, because they're not as profitable or the economic downturn has affected them. How does that affect you when do you see smaller grants, people still supporting you, but maybe it's instead of $10,000 last year, it's $5,000 this year, and do you see that continuing?
We have seen that happen. I would like to add that we've seen a huge increase in individual giving and churches and things like that. So it's really great for us to see that outcome and people understanding. Something I really want to point out is that it only costs $20 a day to support a woman in the Beacon for services that we provide. So someone's gift really can make a difference. And we like to say that. So if we get a $100 donation or if we get $3,000, we like to say, hey, you just provided an entire stay for a woman at the Beacon, basically. So I like to relate that to it. But it's been great to see the outpouring of support, whether it's they're bringing canned foods or clothing to our store, or they're bringing office supplies or toilet paper, which is a huge thing for us, and however they can give back to us is really important. And it's very exciting to see the outpouring of support.
Well, Keisha, I've appreciated you being here today.
Thank you.
On our premiere show.
Thanks.
The first guest is always the best. And I'm Brooke Benscooter, and I appreciate you being here today. Outside the Box will be every Tuesday from 8:45 to 9:45 right here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us through the Webcast One Live website. And I look forward to seeing you next week.